எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். ஒரு தமிழ் நூல் வெளியீட்டு விழாவில் தமிழ் பேசினா தான் அழகாக இருக்கும். ஆனால் நான் தமிழ் பேசினா அந்த இருக்கிற அழகு கூட அழுந்துடும் நினைக்கிறேன். அதனால் உங்கள் அனுமதியுடன் நான் ஆங்கிலத்தில் பேசுகிறேன். Good morning everyone. I'm not going to take everyone's name so that I can save on time. And I promise I won't take more than 6 minutes, 7 minutes. 2013, December 31st night, I was partying with my family and friends in Goa. And that's one New Year's Eve I will never forget. Because it was around midnight when I got a call, and on the line was Mr. Nambinarayan. A little bit of flashback in less than 60 seconds. About 6 months ago, I had visited him at his house in Trivandrum. Incidentally, we are neighbors, about 3 kilometers apart we live in Trivandrum. And I was about to leave when he told me that he is working on a book and whether I can help him out. I was so enamored, I was so scared, I was so excited. I said, give me some time, I'll think about it and get back to you. I would love to do it, but I don't know whether I'll be able to do justice to it. So then a few months later was this party. At midnight I get this call. So I turned around, I looked around at somebody equally in high spirits, a friend of mine was with me. So I asked him, this is what Mr. Nambi wants. What do I do? So he said, you go ahead. So I told him, yes, we'll try it out. So only next morning, it dawned on me the enormity of what I had committed. And very studiously, Mr. Nambi calls me in the morning and says, you committed on something, can we go ahead. So that's how I got trapped into this. And there started a journey which was more than 4 years. I traveled with him. I virtually lived with him. Geeta, Arunan, they all know. The family is here. I kind of replaced them. I spent long hours the whole day with him. And we traveled across the country. We traveled to France, to Princeton. I happened to visit Princeton University in US. I also happened to have to be in Russia, so I could be where he was. So in a way, I traveled to places where he was while developing the Vikas engine. Because even after I committed, I wanted to make sure that I could live at least part of his life. Otherwise, I won't be doing justice to us. Because all said and done, it is a book by Nambinarayan. I am just, as I call it, the Ganapati. If Ganapati wrote Mahabharat, it was actually Vyasan's product. I was just moving my pen, pushing my pen. But to get that feel, I had to get inside him. I wasn't sure about that. But thank God, I think it worked okay well. And I say that it worked okay well because none other than Mr. Nambi himself said that it has come out well. So, and he is not a person to be pleased very easily, as his colleagues would know who has worked with him. So this book, many of you must have read the English book, and I'm sure I'm yet to read the Tamil version of it, sir. I'm sure that it will be as good or if not better than the English version. All I can say is that this has been an experience for me as a reader, as a writer, to, as I said, to live the torturous life that Mr. Nambi went through. This is much more than the spy case. Though the title says how India and I survived the ISRO spy case, it's much more than that. For me, it was a lesson in humility, in hard work, in perseverance, and of course a bit of revenge, to be very honest. A sweet revenge. A revenge is not a physical revenge, but a legal revenge. I don't have his permission to use the word revenge, but then I'm using it. Incidentally, only day before yesterday, you must have read in today's papers that 5 police officers have been charge sheeted by the CBI. 5 officers who caused untold agony to Mr. Nambinarayan and his family, some of who are here. So I think that is more than a poetic justice done. And when it comes to the book, it's better read, better experienced than explained, I feel. I would consider myself only if at all, the third person in the whole scheme of things. The first person, of course, being Nambinarayan, and the second person is his life itself. I'm just the third person. Just a little story I will wind up. When I talk about the third person, I love this anecdote about Apollo 11. Arunan is here, the second master of space science in this room. He's Mr. Nambi's son-in-law, Geeta's husband, and better known as the mastermind of the India's Mars mission. So, Apollo 11, 1969, correct me if I'm wrong, we all know, that was the first mission where a human being, two of them in fact, two men landed on moon. We all know. Many students here, you all know the names? Apollo 11? First man to set foot on moon. Neil Armstrong. There was a second person. Neil Armstrong happened to be a friend of Mr. Nambi at Princeton. You don't know if you watched the movie Rocketry. Yeah. So who was the second person? Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. Fantastic. There was a third person. Anybody knows? Sorry? Yeah, Michael Collin. Not many remember there was a third person. We all talk about Neil Armstrong and we all talk about Buzz Aldrin. There was Michael Collin, who actually took them back. He flew the Eagle around and took them back. So Michael Collin is always forgotten. I'm not claiming that I'm Michael Collin, by the way. Coming to the anecdote, so Michael Collins always had this problem, as in he was in turmoil, that the world is going to remember Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin as the two men who landed and walked on the moon. What am I going to do? Just be a driver. So with this thought, they're working overnight at NASA. He goes to the washroom and finds a janitor. A janitor, the person who cleans the bathroom. So a janitor working late. And Collins asks him, what are you doing so late in the night? And the janitor replies, I'm helping the United States of America go to moon. So that is when Michael Collins felt that the big role he's playing, though he's not going to set foot on moon, he plays a huge role. So that third person, I think, is our translator, Mr. Nathan. And I consider myself the janitor. So thank you all. I hope you'll all read the book. I think you would experience the frisson that Mr. Nambi went through and what his contribution, the untold miseries he had to undergo to contribute so much for Indian space science. Remember, every time a rocket takes off, it has an engine called Vikas, be it a PSLV or a GSLV at some stage. And behind that is this man of greatness. Thank you.